Hello everyone, great to see you again. Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. In 2 years' time, Indonesia's Defense Modernization Program, or as we call it, the Minimum Essential Force Program, will end. Although a lot of progress have been made, some key sectors that needed modernization the most haven't been realized yet. Yes, I'm talking about the naval sector. Looking at the current pace of the modernization plan and the challenges they must face, what will the Indonesian Navy strength look like in 2024? Are they ready to face the challenges? The reason I ask those questions is because during a meeting between the Ministry of Defense and the Navy with the National Assembly last week, we learned about the current state of the Navy's vessel and their plan for the next 2 years. Two key points that piqued the interest of the media is about the Chief of Staff of the Navy statement who revealed that as many as 22 vessels operated by the Navy are not operationally visible, with 3 additional vessels that were declared sunk. And the second one is the Defense Minister statement that said in 24 months, we probably will have 50 combat-ready vessels and become the strongest in Southeast Asia. Even though it's unclear whether the 50 combat-ready vessels he mentioned are all brand new or combined with existing vessels, combatant vessels only, or include the patrol and other support vessels. If we look at the Indonesian Navy posture, currently they operate around 148 vessels of all kinds and classes. And from that number, I found out that 74 of them, not including command, research, and training vessels, are 30 years old or more. Here's what I found. From 7 frigates they have, only 2 are newly built, the Marta Dinata class frigate. From 24 corvettes, only 7 are new. These are Diponegoro and Bung Tomo class. From 4 submarines, 3 are newly built, the Nagapasa class submarine. For fast attack craft, 14 are newly built, while 3 are above 30 years old. These are Celurit class, Sampari class, and Golo class. From 41 patrol vessels, 22 vessels are new. The FPB-57 NAV-5, Pari class, and Krait class. For mine countermeasures, all of them are above 30 years old. LPD and hospital ships are new capabilities in the Navy, so all of the vessels are still new. These are Makassar and Semarang class LPD, and Tanjung Dalpele and Sudirohusodo class hospital ship. From 25 LST, only 9 vessels are new, the Teluk Bintuni class. Lastly, from 4 replenishment oilers, 2 are newly built, the Tarakan class. So, if we subtract this number with the 22 vessels the Chief of Staff of the Navy said are not operationally visible and I assume will be decommissioned in the near future, that means the Navy will operate 66 new vessels along with 52 aging vessels beyond 2024. I don't know about you, but the ratio really worries me. Almost half of the entire Navy fleet can be considered obsolete. Undeniably, China's assertiveness in the South China Sea make the decision makers pay more attention to our Navy. At least for the third phase of the modernization program, the Navy, along with the Air Force, are given priority in defense procurement. Looking back at the statement of the Defense Minister, my understanding is the 50 combat-ready vessels he mentioned is a combination of new and existing vessels. Because 50 new vessels mean we must launch 2 new vessels every month for the next 2 years. Considering the available shipyards, manpower, and the budget we have, that is impossible. Then, what kind of vessels can we expect within this duration of time? As we already discussed in previous video about Indonesia's defense procurement in 2021, the Navy is expecting 10 new frigates and 2 OPVs while still negotiating for up to 8 frigates from Japan. Although the number and the type of vessels they ordered are impressive, this procurement won't be ready in 2024. I bet only the OPVs, 2 mine countermeasures ordered back in 2019, and smaller fast attack craft and patrol vessels that will be ready at the end of the program. So, the Navy still has to depend highly on their existing vessels. Before we continue, if you find this video informative and useful, please hit the like button so that this video can spread to more people. Thank you! The next question is this posture strong enough? Depends on who you are compared with. If we compare it with other Southeast Asian nations, it's more than enough. But personally, become the biggest or the strongest Navy in Southeast Asia is not something to be proud of anymore. Because we already the biggest and arguably one of the strongest in the neighborhood. For me, what we should aim for is to become one of the strongest in the Pacific. Right now, every superpower nation who has interest in the South China Sea can project a bigger naval power than us. Not only the US, China, Japan, Australia, and India who have close proximity with us, but also European nations like the UK and France, in which they have already demonstrated in recent years. If we compare our naval strength with theirs, surely it's not enough. Recently, I read a great article from Lembaga KERIS, one of the leading defense analysis institution in Indonesia, about the urgency of the Indonesian Navy modernization. I put the link in the description if you want to read it. It's in Indonesian though, but Google Translate can help. In the last 2 paragraphs of their article, they said that even though the threats we face today are still a potential threat, at any moment it can turn into an actual threat. Those threats are foreign invasion, food, water, and resource scarcity to nuclear attack. If the invasion happens today or tomorrow, with the current fleet that the Navy has, it is certain that on paper, Indonesia will not have adequate preparation and a fleet of combatants to be able to repel incoming threats. The state will fail to defend its territorial sovereignty if war really occurs in the near future. That's a hard truth, isn't it? But I completely agree. In summary, the meeting between the Ministry of Defense and the Navy with the National Assembly opened our eyes on how dire our naval fleet really is. From around 148 vessels in active service, 74 of them are more than 30 years old. Even worse, 22 of those vessels are not operationally visible anymore. The defense minister said that in the next 24 months, Indonesia will have 50 combat-ready vessels. However, as we learned in today's video, the Navy still has to depend highly on the existing vessels. So, in 2024, except for a small amount of a new mine countermeasure, FACTS, and OPVs, the Navy's posture and strength won't look very different from today. We still have a lot of homework to modernize our Navy. The new frigates that the Ministry of Defense bought can be a solution, but we can't just stop there. Continuous commitment from the government is definitely needed to ensure the modernization program goes according to the timetable. And we need to remember that every acquisition must consider the urgency, worthiness, and the need of our Navy. There you have it, the Indonesian Navy strength in 2024. What do you think about the Indonesian Navy's current fleet? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Please visit my merch store, the link is in the description below. Subscribe for more, and I will see you next time.